A hidden calculation just ran in your mind. It decided whether the energy you are spending right now is worth the potential insight. This is your brain's hidden economy, and it is always running, influencing every single choice you make. This economy doesn't use money. Its currency is attention, focus, and emotional energy. And from your brain's perspective, choosing to help another person is one of its biggest possible expenses. It requires a massive withdrawal of resources with no guaranteed return. This isn't a story about being selfish. It's about survival. Your brain is an ancient, efficient machine. It is an energy miser, hardwired over millions of years to save fuel for what it believes matters most for your own well-being and progress. This constant subconscious cost-benefit analysis creates a powerful phenomenon. It's called the Acorn Effect. It is the precise moment your brain decides not to plant a seed of help because it has judged the soil to be barren and the acorn not worth the effort. The process begins with a lightning-fast subconscious scan. Before you even consciously form a thought, your brain assesses the other person's potential for growth. It acts like a gardener, instantly judging the quality of the earth before planting a valuable seed. It looks for very specific, simple clues. The first is past performance. It quickly asks, has this person tried and failed before? Is there a clear pattern of giving up? Your brain logs this data as a high-risk investment, a sign of poor soil. The scan also searches for visible signs of commitment. It looks for external signals that a person is serious. A half-finished project, a disorganized plan, or just talk without action are all red flags. These are shortcuts your brain uses to predict a low return. But here is the critical flaw in the entire system. That subconscious scan is incredibly biased. It's a quick judgment based on incomplete external information. It is like trying to understand a whole book by looking only at its torn cover. The scan completely misses the internal reality. It cannot see the silent determination building inside someone. It can't detect that a person is just one piece of advice, one moment of support, away from a life-changing breakthrough. The most fertile ground can look barren on the surface. After this flawed scan, the brain runs a cold, simple equation. It weighs the effort required from you against the probability of success it just calculated for them. This is the effort to impact calculation. For example, a friend wants to start a business but has never even written a plan. Your brain sees high effort for you and low probability for them. The internal calculator flashes low ROI, low return on investment. And just like that, the impulse to help quietly fades away. The brain then runs a quick calculation. It weighs the energy it would cost to help against the probable outcome. If helping seems like a huge effort for a tiny, uncertain reward, the system flags it as a bad investment. The brain decides to save its fuel for a better opportunity. It is a cold, efficient calculation happening below the level of your awareness. This is the second half of that hidden equation. The impact. Your mind asks, what is the real chance of success here? If it decides the person's potential is low, even a small amount of effort feels too expensive. The calculation is complete. The subconscious verdict is in. And the decision to not help is made, often without you ever consciously thinking about it. This mechanism shows up everywhere in our daily lives. Think about that junior colleague at work who seemed unfocused. You chose not to spend extra time mentoring them. Or consider the family member you stopped giving advice to because they never seemed to follow it. Your brain quietly labeled them as poor soil for your seeds of effort. These moments felt like logical, isolated decisions, but they were not. They were the Acorn Effect playing out, a hidden pattern of resource management. Your brain was running its cost-benefit analysis in the background, conserving your most valuable assets, your time, your energy, and your hope. This mental shortcut is fueled by powerful cognitive biases. The first is a big one, called the fundamental attribution error. This is our brain's tendency to believe that other people's actions are a result of their character, not their situation. We see their lack of progress, and our mind jumps to a simple story. When we see someone struggle, we don't think about the difficult circumstances they might be facing. Instead, our brain concludes they are lazy, or unmotivated, or simply not trying hard enough. We attribute their failure to who they are, which makes it easy to justify not helping them. It feels like we are wisely avoiding a bad investment in a flawed person. Then, a second bias locks this judgment in place. It's called confirmation bias. Once your brain decides someone is a lost cause, it actively seeks out evidence to prove itself right. It will magnify their mistakes and ignore their small victories. Every stumble confirms the initial story, making it harder and harder to see the real potential hidden inside. And this leads to a powerful, tragic paradox. The very people who need our help the most are the ones our brains are programmed to ignore. The person who is struggling, who seems inconsistent, who lacks self-belief. They are the ones who get filtered out by this subconscious scan. Their messy beginnings look like a poor investment. The Acorn effect creates a huge blind spot in our compassion. We end up offering our resources, our mentorship, and our support to those who already show clear signs of success. We help the saplings that are already growing strong while we walk right past the acorns that hold the potential for entire forests. But here is the key insight, the real turning point. The Acorn effect is just a story. It is a predictive model your brain created to save energy based on incomplete data. It is not objective reality. And the most powerful thing you can do is realize you do not have to believe that story. The real noise is the visible history of failure. It's the messy process of learning, the mistakes, the clumsy first attempts. Your brain sees this struggle and misreads the data. It wrongly concludes that the mess is a sign of low potential, but the signal is something else entirely. It's quieter. The signal is the simple act of trying. It is the persistence after a fall, the spark of curiosity in a question. This signal is the true indicator of future growth, but it is often drowned out by the noise of the past. So, how do you override this flawed programming? There is a mental switch, and it has 3 simple steps. The first is to label the feeling. When you feel that hesitation to help someone, you must consciously name it. Just think, this is the Acorn effect at work. This small act creates distance. It breaks the subconscious pattern. The next 2 steps shift you from prediction to action. Second, reframe the question. Instead of asking, will this person succeed? Ask a better one, can I offer something useful right now? Third, act small. Offer one tiny piece of help. A 5-minute conversation, a single link, a word of encouragement. This bypasses the brain's high-cost investment calculation. Now, turn that lens inward. The most surprising part of this effect is how often we apply it to ourselves. We abandon new skills. We quit new projects. We give up on our own growth because our brain runs the exact same cold calculus on us. It scans our own history. It flags every past failure, every stumble, every time we didn't finish. It sees the messy learning curve and concludes that we are a bad investment of our own time and energy. This is how we become our own harshest critic, cutting off our own potential before it even has a chance. When you zoom out, this mental shortcut has huge costs for society. It explains why leaders and managers often overinvest in their star performers. Those are the proven oaks. They neglect the quiet, high-potential employees who haven't had a big win yet. Those are the acorns, left in the shade. The result is that opportunity becomes a feedback loop. It flows to those who already have momentum. By consciously counteracting this effect, a leader can build a stronger team. A community can find and nurture talent that everyone else has overlooked. It creates a whole forest, not just a few tall trees. An acorn does not need a guarantee that it will one day become a mighty oak. It has no 5-year plan. It just needs a little bit of soil and a little bit of water to get started. Our role, then, isn't to be a fortune teller, trying to predict the future of others or even ourselves. It is simply to be a gardener. It is to be the kind of person who is willing to provide that water and soil without demanding proof of the great tree that lies within. The true nature of growth is not in the towering oak, but in the decision to water the acorn. This tiny choice, made when the outcome is completely unknown, is where all potential truly begins. It's a quiet defiance of the brain's instinct to dismiss what is small. Now, turn that powerful lens inward. The Acorn Effect doesn't just apply to how you see others. It shapes how you see yourself. Every new project, every new habit, every attempt to learn a skill starts as a tiny, unimpressive acorn. Your brain runs the exact same subconscious scan on your own efforts. It sees the clumsy first day at the gym. It hears the awkward first sentence of a new language. It registers the messy first draft of a book. The potential scan flashes a low score. The consequence is a hidden form of self-sabotage. Your mind quietly decides not to invest its best energy. It withholds focus. It withdraws enthusiasm. You quit not because it's hard, but because your brain already ran the numbers and concluded the tiny effort wasn't worth the future unseen reward. This silent internal calculation isn't just a personal struggle. When you zoom out, you can see it operating at a massive scale. It shapes our teams, our companies, and even our societies. The same flawed judgment that makes you quit a new hobby can make a leader ignore a brilliant idea. Think of a manager inside a large organization. They are surrounded by people. Some are like tall, established trees, delivering predictable results. Others are acorns, new hires, quiet thinkers, people with raw but undeveloped talent. The manager's brain, seeking efficiency, automatically directs resources, time, mentorship, budget to the proven trees. This creates an invisible barrier to true innovation. The most disruptive ideas rarely look impressive at first. They are strange, small, and unproven. The effort to impact equation that the brain runs will almost always favor the safe, incremental improvement over the risky, revolutionary acorn. The system starves the very seeds that could one day become a forest. So how do you override this programming? The first step is simple awareness. Just knowing the acorn effect exists is like turning on a light. You can start to catch your brain in the act of judging potential too early. You can name the feeling of dismissal. The next step is to consciously change the question. Your brain automatically asks, "What is the value of this right now?" You must deliberately force it to ask, "What could this become with consistent investment?" This shifts the focus from present-day proof to future potential. This means finding ways to water your own acorns. You must celebrate the awkward first step. You reward the tiny bit of progress. You are making a conscious bet on yourself against your brain's short-sighted, efficiency-obsessed math. You invest in the process, not the immediate result. Ultimately, this reveals the core of all meaningful growth. It is never a guarantee. It is an act of faith in the unseen. It's the choice to nurture a small, fragile beginning, fueled by the understanding that every great thing that has ever existed once started as something that was too small to be noticed.